the enhancements that we've done between version 6 and SI 2015. So this is our, again, as he mentioned, our latest product here. The biggest change would be the mobile install interface. That's completely brand new. It's completely changed the way we look at scheduling tasks and service orders out of the software, and it gives your installers in the field the ability to access a website to be able to see their tasks and service orders, enter information, and then be able to synchronize information back to your working version of SI 2015. So you can get field notes, you can get even serial numbers and notes on individual products. See if something's been completed. You can get actual hours entered from the field, and that's the biggest thing. So we're going to jump right into that. So if you click the Start menu here from the Home tab, you'll see that there is now a schedule option here. We used to not have that. Scheduling was done on a per project basis inside it, and actually within each project's interface. But now we have an explorer here for managing tasks, managed service orders. There's the improvements to our calendar, and then a resource hours section here, not to mention the mobile install features. So the first thing you have to do, though, is create these objects. So let's go here to Manage Tasks, and you can pick a project if you'd like here ahead of time and choose New. If not, you'll be prompted to pick a project to create a task for. So we still do these per project here, but when you pull this up, it's showing here a task, a new task. So what we'll look at here, you want to give the task a name. So this can be anything, install speakers as an example. It starts with today's date from 9 to 11. It's just a default here, but of course you can change that once you start assigning products to this and decide how long it should take your installers to install. Addresses would pull in from the project site address. If you need to change that, you can. The notes field here. Now this notes field, it's a place that you can type in notes if you'd like to explain this task, or you can use other reports for that are built into the software, and leave this notes field for your installers to put their notes in, because this is the field that will actually synchronize back to the software here from the field. Here's where you can add items. So those of you that are using still version 6, a lot of this looks familiar. I mean, nothing here so far has changed. It's a very similar way to create a task, except for this, separate interface back here. But it's the being able to publish to the mobile install and then talk back and forth. That is the key changes here. So let me see. I'm going to go ahead and check in my project real quick here and add products. And I'm just going to pick a few things to add here. Nothing too fancy. I'm just going to select these. Now, of course, when you're adding products here, you can quick filter if you're looking for a particular location or system or even phase to narrow down what you want to add to this task here. So what we'll do is we're picking items from the project that we want to assign to resources, to your installers. So what we call resources are people in your company. And in this list here, I have a list of some people. Some can log into the software, some can't log into the software. Some strictly just are here as resources, like installers. So if we pick, a few people to go out and do a project here, let's see here, we'll do this and this and see. We'll go ahead and assign these two resources to this task here. You can take a look at the analysis here. According to the items I've added, it should take 2.2 hours. The resources are already assigned 2 hours. That's just a default. We default here to 1 hour apiece. So you can adjust that if you want. You have these options down here. If you've set the duration, which is out here, start and end, you can choose to assign estimated hours based on duration. You can also set estimated hours based on the total labor hours off of the products. So again, that's assuming you're using phase labor. So I think it'll go to 1.1 if I do this. Yeah, 1.1 a piece. That's what they've been assigned. Now, if you're not going to use our mobile install interface, you can still run reports here. You can send um, reports either to Outlook as an email, an appointment, or a task, or you can send appointments to a Google Calendar or Outlook.com, which used to be Hotmail. Those are what we have built in here that you can attach those if you'd like. So for instance, just to see the Outlook here, we'll save this task. It'll come up and ask what you want to send, and it'll send an appointment, and you can pick the reports that you want to send, and that will go out to, again, through Outlook to whatever emails you've assigned to your installers. Then, of course, the Google Calendar is another option. A lot of people use Google Calendar. I don't know how many people use the old Hotmail, but it's there if you need it. And then, of course, the big new feature is to be able to publish this to mobile install. So if we hit publish, this is letting me know I haven't even created users yet for this. So I'm just going to choose to create them. And we'll go ahead and create these people. I'm out of licenses. This is something we've automatically built in here. I wanted to show this off today, that I'm being offered to purchase a mobile install license because I've used all of mine. If you're on our software assurance plan, you get the same amount of mobile install licenses that you have of our regular licenses. I'm out of those, so I'll choose yes to purchase that because I'm an admin. I can do that. Go ahead and create yes, and we'll go ahead and get that installer taken there. Hit next, and then here you can attach those reports, very similar to what I was just showing you before, where I might want to show a task detail and a ship list. The nice new feature here too that you don't get through the other interfaces as far as exporting is I can attach any other file I want as well, any other reports out of the software. Like maybe there's a wire drawing that I've done in Visio that I've saved as a PDF that I want to attach here, or just a wire connections report that's not part of this task, but it's something that's been drawn up for the project. If you want to attach those files here, you can just hit this, browse to them, and those will publish out to the mobile install interface. So I'm going to choose to publish this, and it tells me that it's been published to mobile install. So we'll go ahead and save and close this. And here it is in the list, of course, if you need to edit that and so forth. But again, the big deal is that you now are able to access mobile install. So when you do set up your mobile install users, they will get an email with their credentials, a temporary password that they'll be able to change, as well as their login. And then we're going to actually go into the mobile install interface here. I'm already logged in. I figure you want to see me log in. We'll refresh this. And it shows that I have one task that is not started at this point in time. That's the one I just published up here. So over here, there's a dashboard. That's the default view out here. And again, this is what your installers will be able to see from the field on any device that has a web browser and an internet connection. So you're able to see here the dashboard. You can see the calendar out here. Once you pick and choose who's who, if we pull up, Joey and Johnny and or who was it, Tommy? I don't remember who I assigned. One of the Ramones, or two of them. Click this, and it'll show what's been assigned to them. I have some other tasks that are sitting out there that have been done and all that. But here's the one that we've just created for today for those 2 hours. So then here it's just the task list that's sitting out here, and the service order list. So you have all of these options over here. Those buttons, by the way, are also accessible. If you click this, it's going to show you what's not started. It filters down to within the date range, what's not started. So we'll pull up this task, and this is their view, again, on any mobile device that they're using or laptop out there. So what we're looking at here is the general tab with the start and end dates. They're able to make any notes here if they want. There are the items that have been added to this task, and you can select them all and choose to mark them as installed if the work is done. So let's do that. So they're marked as installed on this day. If you want to edit them individually to add specific notes or serial numbers, there's a little pencil icon here that you can click. If you want to put in a serial number, I'll put one in just for the sake of it. Just type something in. moved 2 inches to right, whatever you want to say. Save that. This is information that will synchronize back. Now, the site notes don't sync back. These are intended to be viewed only here in the mobile install interface, but they can add any other notes that they want once they're not communicating back to the office. You can see the installer tab here where you've got the who was assigned this, their estimated hours, and then a place if you want to fill in the actual hours. Let's say it took them 2 hours apiece. We'll do that. So we'll edit each one of these 2 hours. So they went over on that one. Not good, but it's good information to know. You can attach images in the fields. Now, these also do not synchronize back to SI 2015. They're intended to be viewed out here in the mobile interface, but you can drag and drop images or hit the add button and pull up any images that you've taken out there of the job. Here you have the documents that you saw me select earlier. I just put in to the ship list and the task detail here. If you need to view these are PDF reports that were attached and sent out here to the mobile install interface, and then an analysis similar to what we have in the software where it's now showing the actual hours of 4 hours versus what was estimated. So there is no save out here. Like once you've made the save on the individual buttons when you've edited, that's automatically saved. You then just have to update back in SI 2015 to get the details. So I'm going to mark this as complete. We'll say that it's completed and that it's 100%. There's your save out here. That's all you really have to do. So if we just go back to the interface here, I'm in the Task Explorer. I can choose to update from mobile install. It's something you'll have to do back in your SI 2015 interface. Going to be an update from. One task was updated. Hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. And here you'll see. Now, it still shows not started here because this is progress, not status. They are different fields, and the reason for that is out there in mobile install, we have 3 rigid ones. It's not started, it's in progress, or it's completed. Here, we allow you to manage your scheduled progresses since we sell all over the world, and sometimes people don't want to use English in this list. So they're able to modify, so they don't necessarily match up. But we give you this big note down here is, by the way, it's been published and it's marked as completed. The 100% will come down, but you have to choose this because maybe I've changed completed to finished, whatever word I prefer. But feel free to mark that so you stay consistent. But the notes came in. If you take a look here, we scroll over a little bit. There's the serial number I entered in here. There's also the notes. Those all get pulled down, not just to the task, but to the items within the project as well. The resources have their actual hours filled in here. Then, of course, you can run any reports you want against that for actual versus estimated. But that is the new mobile install interface for tasks. Now, service orders are similar, but slightly different. So let's go here to schedule and see service orders. And I've got some still listed out here. Some are not started, some are complete. Let's create a new one here. Yeah, we'll just do this. We'll do a new, and I'm not sure what I'm going to name this. This is do something or fix something, for lack of a creative thing to assign this to. I'll put this for the 18th though, so I don't have any conflicts here. It shows the general tab. You've got the primary contact. You've got your address tab for billing and site address. You can add a description here if you'd like. You can add notes, but again, the notes you might want to leave blank and let the installers in the field send back notes to you via this. If you're adding labor and products at this point in time, you can choose to do that. If it's been assigned, if the service order has been assigned to a project, you'll be able to pick repair items from the project. Now, the new thing that we've added out here is the ability for the installers to add site items. So on site, if they're able to upsell, or maybe I don't know what's happening here. If I send them out to fix a camera, I don't know if they're going to be able to fix that, or if they're going to have to replace it off one in the truck that will then either bill the client for or not bill them based on warranty information, whatever the scenario being. But I don't know that information until the installer goes out there and does the work. Same with labor. Oftentimes our users do not add labor and products to service orders right now because they just don't know, unless there's something like a service call labor. see if I have that on my list here. I think I do service call, which might be a flat fee or something. You know, it's 85 bucks for a service call. I can add that ahead of time to this service order if you want. But products that you may not know. Add resources. So we'll just put Tommy on that one. Go out and do some work. Let me know what happens there out in the field, and it will synchronize back. And I'll show you that in a second, where you get your analysis here, so you can run reports. You can do the send to Outlook, Google, or Outlook.com. And you can also, of course, publish this to mobile install, which is what I'm going to do. We'll save the service order. Let's publish this out. Once again, what reports do you want to go, and any additional files you want to attach. So maybe I'll just throw in here this custom service order report. You can publish this, and one service order has been published to mobile install. Great. Save and close. Let's go find it. So let's pull up here. I'm going to have to refresh my page here. Now I'm going to go to service orders. There's the do something one you just saw me do for the 18th. It's out here. Again, the general tab here. My items tab is that flat fee out here of the 85 bucks or whatever, the service call fee. Repair items I didn't add, but that would have been for there. The site items here is anything that you'd want to add to this. Let's see, is this the service order for? Like, you can add site items on site here. Let me get rid of some of these here, and I'll demo how to do this firsthand. You can add products and you can add labor. Now, that's one of the settings, that this labor setting. It's worth mentioning. I kind of forgot to do that. Up here, site labor settings. Prior to publishing, or I can always go republish this, is you can select a labor item to add out there that your installers are able to add. Maybe it's an hourly rate. Or you can set just a price here. And I've set this to $100 an hour for install. And you have the option of allowing the installer to change this if they want to, or not change it. It's up to you. The ability to change it is nice if you want to have more than one labor rate out there, like $100 for install, but programming is $150. You might want to give them that flexibility to add the $150 for a line item versus the $100. So anyways, those were my default settings there, which is why I forgot to show that. So let's go out here. And if you want to add a site item, you can. Let's add labor out here. We can say that there was, just fixed camera, if you want to. And again, I'm just giving kind of a random example here. How many hours they want to add, it's $100. But since I gave them the ability to change that, you could change that rate if it was programming or whatnot. You can add that. You can also add products, which is interesting here. But you may not know the exact model number. I mean, hopefully if you're pulling this off a truck, you can put something close to it, but it might not be the exact data that's in your SI 2015 interface. Maybe there's a dash or a space missing, or they can mistype it out in the field. So these are not truly real items until you synchronize this back to SI 2015 and then add them to that service order. So you could say manufacturer would be like GE. Notice we start filtering down to manufacturer list. That's nice. And then you can add a colon here and say that this is a dome camera. Maybe we sold them an extra. Sold an additional camera. Now, generally, you're going to need to call in for the price. A quick phone call back to the office will say, how much is this camera? And it's, well, I don't know. Let's call it 400 bucks. Hopefully I made that phone call and I'm right about that. I doubt that anyone out there might know the price of every item they're selling, but you just throw that in here. And now the point of these site items would be to get an approval from the client if you want to. So there is an approve option here where they can take a look. We've added the service charge. We've also added an hour of this, an additional labor, or an additional product we've sold. This one's showing it signed already, but you can edit that if you want to sign here. I'm not really good at signing with a mouse. But if they're on like a smartphone or even a tablet, they can probably sign better with their finger than you can with a mouse, but there's a signature there. It shows it as approved. You've got, again, site notes that are intended to be read out here. Same with the images tab, very similar to what we saw before. Installers can put actual hours on here if you want to. It had an estimated hours. You can add actual should you choose to, or you could do that later once it comes down, and the additional documents. So similar to a task, it's just you have the ability to add site items out here, and I'll show you what that does back in the software now. Let's go back to here. Let's highlight this and say update from mobile install. Now, I didn't mark it as complete or anything. I'm just being sloppy at this point, but let's open this up. There's a new tab here. I'm going to stretch this interface out just a little bit. Site items. They weren't there before because they didn't exist before, so we weren't showing it. But now that they're here, you can come in here, and you'll need to add these to the service order if you want them to be real, to actually be able to say, send this over to QuickBooks as an estimate, or bill however you normally bill. But right now, these are tentative, if you will, until I choose to add them to the service order. So for instance, we'll do the camera. Labor's not overly exciting, but if I want to add this camera to the service order, it's going to pull up your catalog now of products. I'm going to need to find what I'm looking for. So the first things first, I'll go here, and I could do a search if I knew what I was looking for, but I'll say just filter to GE Security, and I can see in here I've got all kinds of stuff. If I want to filter further, I can, but here's the camera that I want to add. I add and close. Notice it puts little check marks here that shows it's been added. And if I come back here to the products tab, this was blank before, I now have that camera in here, and we're selling it out at the $400. Wow, that's a good profit margin. Apparently my data is off, 75 to 400. Awesome. But that's the point of that. You can actually add the real items here, and then of course build a client however you would. So we'll save that. And that essentially is our mobile install interface. Now, we also have a new, improvement here inside of the software to the calendar. This used to be a read-only calendar. Let's go to the month view here and choose let's choose Tommy as an example here, just for our resources. There's the two things you saw me just assign to Tommy here. There's install speakers and this, and these can actually be dragged around and moved if you want to reassign them dates, which that wasn't possible in version 6. So we made it a little more convenient for you here. You can also double click this right here to open the information without having to go back to the Task Explorer, the Service Order Explorer. So that's really nice as well. Resource hours is another part of this. This is new in this version, where you've got your installers listed out here, and you can basically see for whatever date range what was estimated, what their actual were, and any tasks and service orders that they've been assigned to, all in one interface. So that's really convenient. You can filter by resources, you can filter by projects, and of course by date range. So it's just a way for you to get a good view, and you can export this out to Excel if you'd like, for weekly meetings or monthly meetings. And those are the major enhancements that we made to the scheduling part of the software. Now, as Tim mentioned in the quick intro, that there's quite a few other enhancements, obviously. We did a lot of QuickBooks enhancements as far as how estimates get pushed over to QuickBooks, and your options for checking inventory over there. So I'll quickly show that. Let's go here to manage projects. I'm going to open up this project right here. We'll check it out, and then we'll talk a little bit about that project interface there. We've got some nice changes there as well. So what we've got here on the QuickBooks tab, there's a check inventory button that we used to not have. So if I highlight something in this job, or let's see here, we're going to check inventory on some devices over in QuickBooks, I can see how many I have on hand, how many are on purchase orders, and how many are on sales orders. That's a QuickBooks entity. That's what it's looking for, basically. Error messages could come up, like this item doesn't exist in QuickBooks would be a pretty good error message for that. So this is just letting me know ahead of time. So if I'm going to say do a purchase order through the software here, I can at least know, okay, well, I don't need to order 2. of these, and I don't need to order one of these. I can deselect those if I want to, unless, of course, those are committed to other projects. We're not going to see that information here, though. It's just, what do I have? What's on order? Kind of give you a nice heads up about that. The other thing you can do is choose to push this over to QuickBooks. Let's say we're creating an estimate for all the items. This is going to open up this form here, and you can choose how to group it over in QuickBooks. Now, it used to go over as one, I call it just one big bucket, whereas in SI, our software, we're organized when we're looking at either a proposal or even a project. We organize and we group, as you can see here, by location, or maybe you do it by system, or even by phase. Perhaps you bill by phase over in QuickBooks, and that's not a field that transfers, so you would have to know what each item's phase is. Historically, you would have to do that. Now, you can choose to export over by location, by phase, or by system if you'd like to. Maybe I'll push this over by system this time. We'll go ahead and create this estimate. See how that goes. It's estimate number 10, because all my items are assigned. I did my homework before this webinar. So let's go to QuickBooks now and take a look at the estimates here. This came over by system, so there's my distributed audio, there's the parts, then it goes to System Home Theater, all the parts, and so forth for all of the systems that are in the job. And prior to this webinar, I pushed one over by location. So here you see the dining area, the parts, the equipment room, all the parts, and so forth. So you can stay organized over in QuickBooks when this estimate comes over. Much nicer than you used to be able to. That was a huge request, and we liked that idea, and we went ahead and implemented it. So that's a big deal there. Now, we've also added some more QuickBooks settings out here, just so you guys know, where you get to choose when you're using product adjustments, miscellaneous parts, any labor adjustments, or even miscellaneous items. Those are all entities in our software. Some are discounts, some are not, some add money. Hopefully you all know about what those are. They're settings, but you get to pick the name that goes over to QuickBooks. Some users are very particular about what shows up over in QuickBooks when you're going to be invoicing a client out of there. They might not want it to say equip parts here. They might want to say preferred customer discount or something like that. So just as you can change those settings prior to this release on reports within our software, we now let you create a item over in QuickBooks that says discount if you wanted to show a discount. So very cool, a lot more flexible than it was previously. So little bit, let's see. I'm going to minimize this project for right now, so I'll probably come back and talk about it. But I want to show this down here. So when you're looking at the Project Explorer, which is how I open this project to begin with here, notice over here we have a list now of, these are categories, is what essentially they are. There's the all, and clicking on them filters essentially down to either just Visio files or AutoCAD files, reports that you've added here, and then there's other. This is just the default list, but you can manage this list if you'd like. So you're able to come in here and change and even add subcategories here. So AutoCAD is intended, and Visio and AutoCAD are for files linked to our software because we integrate, of course, to both Visio and AutoCAD. But maybe I'm adding an AutoCAD file to this project that's an external reference. It's a floor plan that I'm going to be using. So maybe I'll put a subcategory for AutoCAD for, XREFs, if you want to, and save that. And then you can also, and it's a way for you to categorize. It's almost like a folder structure without physically being folders. And it's a way for you to stay organized when you're adding files to a project. So that was a request for a while, and we have that now. Another cool thing you can do is clone a drawing. You've always been able to clone a project, which is kind of an all-or-nothing thing, but maybe you just want to do some slight variations on a drawing. You're able to clone a drawing now. You can also clone revisions here and create them as a project. So that's another option. And the other big difference out in this interface here is the fact that we show tasks and service orders listed here too. So if they exist, you'll be able to see them here. You'll be able to edit these right from here. Double click it, it's going to open up that task or service order. So you don't have to go back to that interface, and there was a lot of moving back and forth before. And in fact, prior to SI 2015, you wouldn't even know if a task or a service order had been assigned to a project in this major interface here. So we're getting a more, I don't know the way to say it, but more organized out here for you to really get a good view of what is associated with each one of your projects out here, whether they have revisions, tasks, or service orders. So we've got some other enhancements in the software. One of them being you can apply a price rule to a project. I'm not real sure how many people are going to do that, but it's an option. We've had price rules for a while, but what we enhanced on price rules was the ability to add margin and markup. That's the real use case I can see for this. So give me a sec, and I'm just going to choose a client, type in a name, address. This is a new step here where you might want to apply a price rule. So if I wanted to set a 30% margin across the board for a project, I could do that here by selecting a price rule or creating one on the fly if you wanted to. Of course, you can still do this once the project's open because, let's be honest, 30% margin across the board, that's not going to work for televisions. You all know that. We all know that. You're going to have to adjust those down to your 0.01% profit margin. But everything else could go in at 30. It's up to you. But this is just a new setting here. Another nice new setting here is that all of your taxes list at once. You don't have to go to manage taxes and then add them to the projects anymore. If they've been created, they're here. Now, of course, if you need to add a new one, that'd be the point of going here and say, look, I need to add some new taxes out here because I'm doing a job in, I don't know, Alabama. That's right next door here. So, although I'll never go to Alabama. Good, close this. Cancel out of project creation. So now, some drawing enhancements that we have in the software. AutoCAD, let's start there. Let's get that out of the way. Pull this up here. The AutoCAD interface. The block list is a lot different. It's much more like our Visio one. Now, we made some major changes in version 6 to the Visio side. We didn't really touch AutoCAD too much as far as our block library. Now we have. We used to be category-based out here. That was historically what DTools did. We did categories of shapes and blocks. Now it's very similar to the Visio side where we have elevation, we have plan, schematic, and line. Those are our three major types. Plus, of course, wire. Then there's security and electrical that we built in-house. These are DTools designed and created blocks. Also cabinet tools. But we also put in the J standard 710 blocks out here. This is not available prior to SI 2015. We had them for Visio, but not for AutoCAD. Same with these SIA blocks here. And as you can see, there's a lot more of them than we used to have in the Visio side of 6. We've enhanced it to show all of these. So what these are quote-unquote standardized shapes. SIA's actually, standards, and the J standard 710 is from that white paper from Infocom and Cedia about the way blocks and shapes should work, what they should look like, what device options they have. So we've built those into here for our AutoCAD users in this version here. So that's our big enhancement there. Go ahead and close out of AutoCAD now. Let's open Visio. Oops, let me close this file and launch it in Visio here. We've created some new shapes. Like we've had the location and system shapes for a while back in version 6, but now we've made them containers. So when you move them, they actually move the child objects along with them. And for those of you that don't know about this, give me a sec. I'm going to pull this over to this screen. So I've got a mess of a project here. Let me see. This is the lighting plan. Master bath here. So this, let me make sure I have master bath in my project. We'll pull up this project editor. Yeah, so there's like the master bath. The point of the shapes I'm talking about, and I'll show you where they are. See these location and system shapes? I can pull over a location, a system shape, or a combination shape, and I pull this to the page. You can see it's kind of big right there. But what I'm going to ask you to do is, okay, well, what location is this? What system is this? Because I chose the dual one. I'll say it's, the master bath distributed audio system. Choose assign. This shape now can be resized. Well, grab it properly. Hold on, bear with me. Zoom out a little bit. Maybe I can't. They're shrinking slowly here. Got a little bit of a delay, but you put this over the area that you want this to be a part of, essentially, and then you can drag products directly into here, and they'll be assigned to this location and to that system, to that distributed audio system. These go to their own layers. You can turn them off when you're done, but it's a pretty nice way if you like to work this way, where you want to pull in specific products. They will be assigned to that. So just why not? Let me put a speaker in here. Do I have Leon in here? Yeah, let's go here. I want this to be here. I'm going to drag it over. It drops a icon shape here in the location. It's also been added to the master bath distributed audio system back here in the project. You can see that right up here. It's showing on that page, and it's organized by that. So anyways, these are containers now, so if you move it, the shapes move with them. That used to not happen. So we made that improvement. There's another cool improvement on schematic view. Let me bounce over here. You can now add blank spaces to your schematic shapes. Let me pop this open here. When you're in the IO Studio, so you pop this open here, there's a new little button here that says insert a blank port. So you might want to separate your audio from your video from your control, depending on what device it is. So again, I'm just going to choose this and insert one. It added a blank space, and if you want to add another one, highlight that. If you want to put 2 blank spaces in there, you can. It can make them look or make these schematic shapes look a little bit better. There's a prompt to update to the catalog if you want to. I'll say no, but save and close here. You'll notice there's the blanks now. So you can get a little more organized when you're creating these. So very, very cool. We also have a smart call-out shape that's way cool. We've had something like this in the past, but it wasn't as advanced as it is now. We were limited on what you could pull over here. But now, if I come in here and say the smart call-out and pull this, attach this to a device, you basically can configure this call-out to be any field that's available in the software. What do you want to display here? Even custom field. So you can have a nice note off to the side with whatever information you feel like showing for whoever you're showing this to. Very, very cool. Very, very smart shape. So that's some of the enhancements there. We also made some changes to the catalog globally. So let's get out of projects for now. Sure, I'll save it. We'll go back here to the software. Let's go to the catalog. One of the big things that we did out here is allow you to put alternate items globally. So that used to be a per project setting for our alternate items, which is a part of version 6, but this is just much better now. Not only have the reports been improved to aggregate the price of those alternate items, out here when you're working, you have the ability to add alternates in bulk. So I could say that for all of these items here, there is an alternate light, obviously a weird example, but I could say alternates for the selected, put these here globally, and then when I add to the job, I have the option of having the alternates in there. Another cool enhancement here was for accessories. This is definitely more commonly used. When you used to do the bulk thing like this for, again, my random example here, all of these items are going to get the same accessory. You never had the choice of which ones would be prompted or which ones would be recommended or any combination thereof. Now you do. So when you add products here, and again, forgive my randomness, I'm going to add these vents just to have something. Notice you get the prompt to recommend. So I can say no, 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 but recommend just this top one. I may use these. I want to be prompted for them, but I don't want them recommended. So it's way cool. It saves you so much time when accessorizing your database, which hopefully everyone on this line that's using our software is doing. And let's see here. What else do I want to show you? Component ID format. It's more of a project setting. So let's project here. We'll go back here. There is a component ID format here. It used to be rigid. It was always dash. Now we'll let you choose your separator, the number of digits, and the start number. So huge enhancements here because for those of you that aren't doing drawings in our software, you should be, number one. Number two, the component ID, you probably never noticed before if you're not doing drawings. That is essentially your wire number. It's what uniquely identifies every product that goes into software, but you'll notice we have this one here for all products. This one is just for wire. Most people just refer to it as the wire number when they're contacting us, but it's the component ID. But it was rigid. It had dashes only in it, and it had a particular length for the end number. It was like, I think 3 characters. Now you get to choose whatever you want. Plus, you can choose a colon, a slash, or I guess it's a dot, a period, a dot. Or you can type in your own here. You can put a question mark if you really wanted to. It would look kind of weird to see a bunch of question marks everywhere. That's never cool, but we'll let you do it. You can type in whatever character you see fit that you want to separate with. Maybe you like tildes. Who doesn't like tildes? Well, I don't know. Maybe you don't. We did add, for projects, 4 more custom fields. I talked about the cloning of that. But those are just again, some of the enhancements we did, the primary ones being that mobile install feature. That is just very cool, very key, and allows your installers / resources to communicate with you from the field back to the software here. Less paperwork, save a tree. So I'm done with this demo. I'm going to go ahead and open this up for Q&A here. And
Thanks,
we'll go ahead and